Hi everyone, this is Jeanette with Jandapanda Treasures, and today I have a lot of blue box items here that need some testing. And I mean, they're various pieces from several different blue boxes. And then this is a bunch of stuff that came out of the last blue box. And if we have time, we'll go over that, or I'll do another video maybe. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that maybe a fourth of this might be precious metal. So fingers crossed. But these are suspicious pieces to me that came out of the blue boxes. And there's like there's single earrings, there's bracelets, there's all kinds of interesting things. And what I do initially is when I go through a blue box, I will do what's called a magnet test. And this doesn't mean that anything that does not stick to a magnet is gold. It just means that whatever's sticking to the magnet is not gold. So I'll just do a quick test here. Before I get into the chemicals, I want to make sure that, I'm only testing a few items, or the ones that I believe to be or suspicious of being precious metal. So I have a couple of Alex and Ani bracelets here. And I wanted to, one of them I think is, let's test and see if they're magnetic first. This one's a magnetic one. This one is not. This is not a magnetic one. So then my next step is to magnet test the charms. Okay, this one's missing a charm. These are not magnetic, but to me, they don't really look like they're sterling. This one is magnetic. I don't know if that's showing in the video. So, I mean, my next thing I would do is I would take my stone and I would do a scratch on the stone on this charm here and examine the color. Now this color right here turned out has some red to it, so this is not silver. So this whole bracelet, well, I'll scratch this guy too. It just doesn't feel like silver. Yeah, this one's also coming up red. So this bracelet to me is just not silver. So this will, it's missing a charm. So this is gonna go into craft. Now this Alex and Ani. So once I do this part, with the magnet, there's no pull. That's just gravity. So, yeah. So with this one, I'll then look in my loop to see if there's any indication of 925 on here. Oops, excuse me if I hit you with the lights. Nope. And then I want to look at the bracelet itself. It's kind of tarnished, which again doesn't mean anything. It could have a silver wash over it. But that's what this one does. This has a silver wash to it, which is why I scratched it really hard to make sure I got down to the metal underneath. This one does not have any sterling marks to it. So The next thing I would do then is do a scratch test, see if any red comes up. This one is scratching a little bit differently. Let me turn the light on. That might help. There we go. It's scratching differently than these two on that sunflower. And you want to scratch on the same spot and get a really good scratch out of it. And this would be my first test. If I was going to do a chemical test, same thing with that, a little bit of a different color tone. And then we'll do this charm. We're going to go and okay, there's that charm. I think I need to do the teeny tiny one. If I can get it. But this is stuff I do way before I get involved in any of the chemicals, because the chemicals smell bad, burns your nose. If you get it on your hands, it turns it orange, which means that, yeah, you can see right there. I was doing a quick test without a glove, and I got this. It does peel off, but you know, I try not to get it on my hands, because then you touch your face, and you know, it's a whole thing, a whole crazy business. Okay, well, determination is my game. For some reason, I don't want you to scratch these. Oh, come on, you. Well, if any of these turn out to be sterling, they don't have that kind of a white metal look to them. This one does a little bit, and then we'll do the bracelet itself. That one has a really nice white silvery look to it. So this would be my first test to go through as far as testing for silver metal. And I would put on I have my window open in the back, right behind me. So there is ventilation. And so this would be my first acid test as far as testing this particular bracelet. Get these guys out of the way. So we're testing that one and the charms. Definitely wear the kind of gloves that the acid won't eat through. I do have an apron on to protect my clothing. I could put on a mask, but I have ventilation, so. And then what I do is I do 18 karat gold solution on a black stone so that you can see the blue just pop out. So let's give this a go. I'm probably going to put the solution on over here too, just to clean off the stone, because that's going to be eaten up right away. So let's test the charms. And all you need is a little bit of a drop. You don't need much. And then you also have to let it sit for a while, because okay, yeah, it's coming back. Oh, wow. So this is the first Alex and Ani that I have actually come across that had sterling on it. Now it looks like I may need to test some of those. I didn't get a good enough scratch on that one charm. And then this is the bracelet. And the only reason why I thought it might be sterling, besides doing the magnet test, is the fact that it was tarnished as compared to this one, which still has kind of a sheen to it. So yeah, I didn't know that Alex and Ani made sterling. So, you know, all of you guys out there with blue boxes that you go through, make sure you check your Alex and Ani's with a magnet first, just to be sure. Okay, so this is going into craft. It is missing a charm. This one is, I'm probably gonna put it into scrap. So I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see what the comps are for this. But I do want to test it thoroughly one more time, just to make sure that I get those same readings. So this is going to go in the retest pile, if I can remember all that stuff. There's so much stuff here to deal with as far as, you know, testing. Okay, so let's look at a few more items here that I have on my tray. We can look at some single earrings. Take my gloves off. Take them off like this. I don't want to touch. Sorry, I'm such a freak about this, but you know, I was testing for the first time a couple of months ago, not knowing what I was doing, and I still don't know half the time. But I got some of the solution on my nail down here at the bottom. It just kind of collected there. Finally, it's grown out, so it's taken about 4 or 5 months for it to get up to here to finally grow out. So it will stain your fingernails until it grows out. It will cause your skin to turn orange, which is what happened here. It will eventually peel off, but if you do this every day, it might cause damage. So if you're going to do any kind of testing with any kind of acid, and definitely don't allow children to handle this stuff, because they could burn. I mean, if they touch their eyes, plus they have little tender skins. So anyway, so where is my magnet? Here it is. So let's do a magnet test on some of these items. Let's start with this. This has some pull, and what made me suspicious about this one was it's beaded. So the wire underneath might be magnetic. These feel like they're little wooden beads or plastic beads. So, I mean, I'll do a scratch on it and see if any of the beads themselves are coming up blue. So let's give that a shot. Blue, I'm looking for blue or a silver. No, oh, it's coming up gold. Well, that's interesting. Let's scratch it again in the same spot. So that's a little different than the red, which was this one. This is the red. So no, that's the sterling one. This is what it looks like when it's got a silver wash to it. It comes up, oops, it comes up a red tone. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This looks kind of reddish to me. These come up looking gold, but again, I don't know what gold looks like when it's I mean, I know it looks like gold, but but that could be some metal I'm not familiar with. So, what I would do, since it came up this yellow tone, is I would start with a 10. And if it stayed, then I would do a 12. If that stayed, then I would do an 18, and so on and so on. And I'm going to scratch the same spot. And then what you want to do after you scratch it is actually dip it in the acid and look at the piece to see if it's bubbling or anything. Because if it is, then it's just a really well plated piece. So get enough off of this thing. So if this turns out to be some sort of sterling or gold, I would probably take it off the chain and then scrap it. All right, so there's 4 scratches on that spot right there. Leave it like that. Put on the gloves. And if that first one dissolves at 10K, then I'll try the 18. I think it would dissolve. I would think it would dissolve, you know, being logical. I think it would dissolve at 18, but we'll go in chronological order. Let's see what kind of acids I have here. Oh, come on, glove. Okay. Yeah, sometimes when I do a little bit of a test while I have you guys here on video with me, I'll do a scratch test and I might do a drop of sterling, but for the most of the time I do my testing like this: ventilation, apron, gloves, and no children. So let's try, where's my 10K? Here's my 10K. So since it scratched up like kind of a yellowy color, I'm gonna try a 10K on it. I mean, the thing is silver, so this might be just a fool's journey here. And then you want to leave it on there for a while. It's probably not advisable to mix your acid. So that one, I'll bring it up to you. Yeah, I think it's dissolving at 10K. It dissolved pretty quickly. I'll let it sit there for a minute, and then I'll do my 18K on this last one back here. So my guess, this piece is not anything. Yeah, I don't even need to go any further. It's all dissolved. So we will put that one into scrap. So that's the reason why I had this particular, not scrap, I'm gonna put it into craft. That's the reason why I had this particular piece out, is because I didn't know if these beads were precious metal, because it did have a pull to it, you know. Yeah, it's pulling. So that's, you know, it's just one of those things. Hindsight's 20/20, as they say, right? Right. So we'll get rid of those. All right, let's do a magnet test on this. I don't feel any pull on this. Next thing, that's got some mother of pearl in there. I don't even know what this is. I don't see any marks. That would be the next thing I would look for, just because there's no sense in, you know, I mean, I'd still test it anyway. So either way. Okay, this one actually has some wear to it. So what makes me suspicious is that this right here, I don't know if you can see that, there, the silver finish is wearing off. So my guess is this is nothing. Yeah, it's doing that. It looks kind of reddish to me. I'm thinking it's not sterling, but then again, I could do, you know, I'm not even going to. I can see just by turning it this way, it's as red as that part right there. This is kind of like my unit of measure is what they call it to compare my comparison. So this one is going into wherever, I don't know. All right, next item. This one is not magnetic. And on chains, they usually will put the 925 on the tongue of that clasp. And I do see some tiny, tiny writing there. So then I would take my loop. There's no writing on that side. It does say 925 on this side. So what I would do then is I would test the clasp and the chain. The chain might not be sterling. I have no reason to believe it's not sterling, but you never know. All right, and sometimes you may need to have another look at that clasp just to find out what the exact numbers are. I just assumed it was 925. I saw the 25, but it could be something else written there. So need to look carefully. All right, this is what the encumbrances of the glove is. Oh, this has got potential on the clasp. And then I will do this. I'll try and do this. Sometimes it's so hard. Chains. Sometimes this one's relatively easy because it's got the larger links. It's when it gets to be the really tiny, tiny ones. Okay, let's try that one. And again, this is just my first test on this. Okay. Yeah, this one's coming up sterling. And then, so this is my first acid test on this. So I would probably do a more comprehensive acid test on this. But because it's marked on the, you know, this little tongue part here, and it tested on my first go round as sterling, because I can't remember where I scratched it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what I would do is I would take my scratched part and dip it into the acid. And then I would take my loop and look for bubbling. It actually is bubbling. It's bubbling, so this might be a plate. And you see how it broke up? Well, that probably is This is bubbling, so I am suspicious of that spot. So let's try it again. So we're going to do a secondary test on this, because anybody can fake a sterling piece. Do a nice deep scratch, because this is going into scrap when I'm finished with it, and you want to make it a condensed scratch. So I scratched it. I can see where, because there's no tarnish there, I can kind of see where I scratched it. So I will put on another drop on the deep scratch. Yeah, it's coming up blue. And yes, I am using 18K. And there's my scratch. So good dip in there. Take a look. Don't want to get into my face. I normally would have this opposite. I would have the loop in my right hand and the piece in my left hand. You know, under the loop, it really looks, this looks like a plated piece to me. It almost looks like a different color metal underneath that scratch. I'm gonna look at it. It is not in your face, sorry. I'm gonna switch hands, take a better look. Well, it could be just I scratched off this. See, what I'm looking for is bright blue. That just turned white. So I don't know what that stuff is. And you can see now that the acid has taken off all of the finish. So that's what I mean by, you know, testing and doing a really deep test. That's why when you find like what you think is precious metal and there's notches taken out of the rings and stuff, is because they're taking actual hunks of the metal, a deep cut, and testing the entire piece. So this one to me failed the test, even though it's got a mark on there that says 925. Yep, it says 925. So my guess, because this part also scratched the same as that strange color. So I don't know what this is, but it's not telling me it's sterling. So if you have any other idea, let me know, because this piece right here is actually a completely different color than the silver. So I don't know what to do with this. Well, maybe somebody out there can tell me. Anyway, so I am just a little rambling queen here today. Put the lid on my acid. The reason why this has a blue lid on it is because the cap that was on it before, the top, I guess it was just too overwhelming with acid. It did that the whole top just kind of popped off there. So it was exposing acid fumes. So I had to find another top, but it should be red. Anyway, so there's that. So I don't know, maybe I'll test it again. Maybe I'll throw the whole thing in, you know, or a piece of it in acid and see what happens. because that is just weirdness. Okay, let's scan through a couple of things. Okay, here's another thing I want to tell you guys about. Sometimes the clasp has a steel spring in it. This one is actually, let's see if there's any marks or anything on this one. It says B on the front. Look in the loop. There's just so many things to, you know, searching for precious metals. And you want to look for like little tags that are attached on the links just to see if they say 14 karat or 10 karat or 12 karat. This one has no markings on it. I'm going to assume that the clasp is not gold. And this chain, it's not magnetic. This part, only the links right here are magnetic. This part is not. But this could be aluminum or some sort of a washed metal that's non-magnetic. Let's see what this does. Nice fat scratch, condensed, lots. Okay, so this turned out gold. Here's my 10K. And it looks like it disappeared. So I don't think this is gold, any of it. But we could, it just, because it wasn't magnetic, it was suspicious to me. Anyway, this is Jeanette with Jandapanda Treasures, and this is just one of my demonstration videos. Let's see if I can get it to do anything with my glove on. It tends to bunch up around. I'm getting anything. And again, if you find a piece that you really love and you suspect it's precious metal, but you don't want to test it because you don't want to ruin it, you could have the option of taking it to the jeweler or, you know, just loving the piece. But, okay, so we're going to test that cloudy spot there. My guess is it's just going to dissolve. And it does. It's completely, it's not gold at all. It's not even marked gold, but because it was not magnetic, it was worth a try. So, not gold pile, not silver pile. Oops. Well, I hope we find some fun stuff in here. Okay. This one, I'm suspicious it's the findings inside, the little spring inside. Does say 925. I mean, there's no reason for me not to believe it, but if I'm going to sell something and claim it to be 925, I really need to be sure. If I can just find a spot I can scratch. All right, off come the gloves. Since I'm not touching the acid and this is kind of wiped off, I can get some more dexterity and actually get a good scratch on this one. I just have to be mindful of where I'm scratching so that I can do a little bit of a dip test. Okay, so that's where I scratched, was right there. Do a little 18K on a black stone. And notice I didn't put my glove on. Bad girl, bad girl. Gloves, please. Another thing, if you do get acid on your hand, go immediately wash it off. Because, you know, I wear contacts, and even when I wash 1,500 times after I do use acid, I don't really use acid. When I use the acid solutions, I still burn my eyes. So you gotta be really careful. Yeah, I'm going to assume that that is sterling. And I mean, it's been on there for a little bit. You know, I usually like to keep it on as long as possible. So, I mean, it's worth a secondary test to me. And these stones might be of some semi-precious nature. So it'd be a cute necklace for somebody. Okay. This one I have tested already. The clasp, these pieces here, these are sterling. These two skulls are sterling. This clasp is sterling, but these 4 skulls are not sterling. So don't believe everything you see, because just because it says 925 on the clasp doesn't mean everything on it is sterling. And you can almost, I mean, I showed a picture to Gina from My Pink Bag, and she said right away, she goes, those 4 skulls are not sterling. Well, they're a whole different color than the rest of it. So, you know, that made perfect sense. But it's a cool bracelet anyway. Anyway, so that's, but yeah, there are some sterling parts to it. It's just not 100% sterling. So there's so many interpretations of precious metal and sterling. And all right, so I have this cameo set here, and I just found it very, very weird. It did come in a blue box. It had like a $65 price tag on it, which I thought was rather strange. Because, you know, they are vintage, and maybe they are worth $65 to somebody. I don't know, you know, if it was from an estate sale or what, but I was just curious as to why these were $20 or $65. And so sometimes there's markings on these parts of the post, but you really have to look all over the place. And I didn't, on my initial go round, I didn't see any indication of what kind of metal this is. And if they're really, really old pieces, there may not be an indication, because they don't have to mark everything. So I decided that since it had, you know, I was suspicious that because it had such a high price tag, that I would give them a scratch. Let's see what the metal comes up as. That's a nice bright yellow. So I'm going to start with my 10K. And let it sit. Okay, it quickly dissolved. So it's not, maybe it was just a high-end estate sale, but you know, then it ended up in either a blue box or a vintage lot that I got from Shop Goodwill. So there is nothing precious metal about that, but these are really cool pieces. The silhouettes. These are silhouettes. I don't know how they are pieced together or how these are made, but these are really cool. So they all, I don't know. Do they all look different? I don't know. You look at those and tell me, are they all different? I mean, if they're all different, it's barely, but it looks like these were individually made. So these are really cool. Okay. Item, I don't know what I'm going to do with. I might do an eBay on it. Oh, I didn't even do a magnet test. But yeah, they're not magnetic, so not even the pin. Let me look at the pin. It's one of those C clasps. So sometimes the pin is a tell-all of what it might be. And maybe there's a maker that I am not familiar with that actually makes these, and it's an unsigned piece. I don't know. I'm just looking all over. Anyway, nothing on there. Okay, so I have, oh, this pair of earrings. These are not magnetic. And another indication that they might be sterling is the fact that they are marked 925 on the wire right there. And usually it's kind of a hint that they may be sterling if they have this flat portion right there. But they do say 925 on both earrings. And these are beautiful filigree hearts. Let's see if it says 925 on the actual earring. Yep, there's a 925 right there, right where my pen is pointing. So I will verify that. And I would like to sell it as an earring set. Make sure I'm not getting a hole in there. Okay, so I don't know if I scratched off the plating and got some sterling. So that's another reason to do another test. So it might have some sort of a protective plating on it to keep it from tarnishing. Let's see if I can find my scratch. I think this is it. So I'm gonna scratch it again, see if I can get any deeper, because 925 is supposed to be solid silver. dip this part into the droplet and see what happens to it. Because again, anybody can stamp anything they want onto a piece of jewelry. I don't know. Sometimes you just want to see that bright blue, but that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna dip it with this hand so that I can see it with this hand. And coordinate it the other way around. All right, let's give it a little saturation there. It's bubbling. And this is also doing the same thing that that chain was doing. So I am not convinced that this is sterling. It's a bummer. The ear wires may be sterling, but I'm not going to test those. It's too hard. So, further testing. Well, that stinks. It's just that this test turned out to, it looks funny. It just looks strange. This is a cute little heart box. It doesn't open. There's no maker's mark. There's no mark on it whatsoever. And it is non-magnetic. So let's see what color scratch we get out of that. And this is, oh, okay, well, we got some promise here. That's a nice healthy scratch. And I scratched it right there, so that's where I'm gonna dip it when I do the solution. So here we go. It is turning. And you do, again, you do want to leave it in there for a little while. It just, gosh, it's got this bunch of strange, wonder, I am using 18K. So let's do a dip. Do a look-see. Yeah, it's bubbling. The reason why I was kind of suspicious that if it was sterling or not, it didn't look right. I'm guessing this is not sterling. Gosh. I may have to retest everything. So I'm just, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's see what else I got here. I found this one clip-on. It's really, really, I don't know if it was meant to look tarnished, but I only have one. Oh wait, I have a pair. Woohoo! I have a pair of clip-ons. That would be ideal if these were sterling. That would be cool, but I'm guessing they're not. Well, the reason why they're in this tray is because they're not magnetic. And there is no marking. They are blackened on the back. I don't know if that was on purpose. So, let's take a little, I did not see any marks at all, and it would be hard to tell even under the loop. So let's do an initial scratch. My test scratch. Pardon the noise. I'm going to do another scratch. Same spot. So there we have it. So there's my scratch. So that's where I'm gonna dip. Dip it right in. Zoe! Oh my God. Scared me to death. Okay, well that was fun. Nothing like concentrating. Okay. Okay, these are getting eaten up. Yeah, these definitely are not sterling, but they're a cool pair of earrings. It goes in that pile over there. So see, I didn't even bother to dip it. Why go any further when you know it's not? See, I have some other pairs here. Just total weird. Total weirdness. Okay, these guys are not. You could go, I mean, once you get a routine going, you can go pretty quick on some of this. Let's do this one I don't even think I'm gonna bother with. There's nothing marked on it. I'll do a scratch, but that's it. Do it over here. Okay. Let's do a 10K on it. Nope. These I thought were really pretty. And they're not magnetic. There's two of them. It has these snap-ons. So now I'm going to take a look-see, see if it's marked anywhere. It does have some green on it. It's not marked on the post. I'm not too concerned about the post because that could be surgical steel. But let's take a look and see what the scratch looks like. Oh, it looks promising. Let's do 10K. And then you want it to sit there for a little bit. But I mean, if it goes away right away, there's really no need to look any further. So these are gold tone. Cute earrings though. Very well made. And there's that. That goes in that pile. This one intrigued me, and I wanted to take a look at it to see if it was all one piece and not a framed piece. Okay, so this is all one piece. So my guess is this is not any type of precious metal because it's got some magnetic to it. So that goes in that pile. This one was suspicious to me, and it does say something on that flat part of the hoop. I only have one of these. So this one says, oh, 14 karat Italy. What does it say? 14 karat Italy. That's all it says. So, how much of it is 14 karat? Well, let's go for it. Let's since it's one earring, it's going to be scrap anyway. So, let's just go for it. There we go. Do I have a 14? Yeah, there's my 14K. It says 14K. Let's check it out. It'd be really cool if that whole earring was gold, which it looks like it is. Where's my scratch mark? Oh, I'm gonna get another scratch and dip it. That's not very good. There we go. It's holding. All right. Just want to make sure I get a really good scratch just to expose it. And then I dip it. Give it a good dip, dippity-doo. And then I look. And there is no bubbling. So I am pretty confident that this one earring is 14 karat gold. Now, here's the other thing that I do. How much is this 14 karat gold earring worth? This one piece. So, got my little scale here. Turn it on. And then it's at the gram setting. So this is 1.15 grams. So then I look up value of 14 karat gold in grams. Did I turn this on today? Do that. Why isn't my phone going on? There we go. It was off. So it's kind of crept up to 1.1. I'll just do 1.15. So it's current market as of today, Labor Day, what this one piece of gold is worth. Price 14K gold grams. $14 karat gold. Price per gram is $32.57 today. So, where's my calculator? Clear everything. Clear. 32.57. Nope, that's not correct. 32.57 times 1.5 equals. So that's almost $50 right there in a found piece from a blue box. So this one piece paid for one blue box. So I'm happy about that. But it's a little bit of work. So, you know, you got to know how to look for it. So that's a nice piece of scrap right there. Nice piece of scrap. So I'm saving that one. I'll leave it right there. Can you see it? $50 worth of gold right there. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's do this one, these aren't, I'm not even going to test them. It is a pair, really cool pair. I can put them in the Sonic and clean them up really well. They're nice and heavy. Here's another gold earring. Let's see. This one has significant wear on it, so I'm going to scratch it right where it's worn, right there. Oh, I should have done this first. Never mind. Where is there we go, it goes in that pile. Never mind. Here's a really pretty sterling piece. None of it is coming magnetic. I don't know what that stone is. It looks like a shell. It's a beautiful earring, but I only have one. I guess it would make this is really strange. I guess it could be a shell. Shells come in all different shapes, colors, and types. A little tiger eye bead there. But, you know, to weigh this for sterling, it would be very difficult. But I'll show you if this is in fact real sterling. It should come up a nice, it will probably come up a very nice bright blue. Put my glove on. Yeah, I don't think you can get the same price for shell that you can for sterling. So I don't know what they do when you scrap something that actually has a stone in it or something in it. So. That also has that weird metal underneath. And it does look like it's bubbling. So I'm suspicious. So further testing required. Look at how that acid just ate up some of that. So my guess is this piece that is marked. What is it marked? Maybe it's not even marked sterling. I just, you assume things when you're going through stuff. Oh, it says 925. But it certainly isn't acting like 925. That acid just ate off the finish. So I'm thinking that's a fake. But we'll see. I'll do more. Further testing. I'd sure like to find another gold piece. What do you think? Love to find another gold piece. There's no marking on it. Single earring. And kind of keep an eye out on where I scratched. the acid just ate it up. So see, this is an example of something that's not magnetic, but it's also not sterling. So see if there's any other little pieces here that are suspicious. These guys in here, this one, see, that looks like a ruby, and that looks to me like gold. So I'm gonna, it does say something on the back, and I have two of them. Now I have two similar ones. Jeez. So yeah, I don't have a pair of those. So on that part right there, the screw back part, or the finger part, this one says 14K. Ooh, wouldn't that be lovely? We can weigh it. So let's do a nice heavy scratch test on this one. And mind where I'm scratching so that I can do a dip test. I'm going to where did I scratch? Yeah, let's just keep going. Okay, I think I can see my mark right there. And we'll just jump to the 14K, which is this one. And that is not going away, not very fast. So you do have to let it sit in there for a little bit. Where's my scratch? And we'll do a dip. And I'm going to take a look and see if it's bubbling. I see no bubbling. So I'm pretty confident that this is 14K, but again, you know, to weigh this, I would have to take into consideration those stones in there or remove the stones. I only have single earrings. So let's see how much this one weighs. And notice that I still have the solution still on there. So I want to make sure that it does. Let's turn this off and back on again, get the tear weight off. Off. On. Let it zero out. So that has the potential to be $100 right there in 14K. That little piece. And this one also says 14K on the back, so after I test it, again, so now, right now, I have, well, potentially $250 worth of 14 karat gold here. Get a better measurement when I take those stones out. I will test those stones, you know, for ruby or maybe a pink sapphire or something. But $250 isn't bad. Isn't bad at all for a bunch of single earrings that you get in these lots. So I'm pretty confident. And just for giggles, I will test this. Ugh. Gloves, I swear. Well, they protect your hands, right? So I'm going to do this corner right there, that top end. Sorry for the shaking. It looks good for $14K as far as I'm concerned. My uneducated eyeballs. Okay, so it's still sitting there. I mean, I'm gonna leave it like that for a little while. I'm gonna look under the loop to see if there's any bubbling. Nothing, no bubbling. So that's all good. I mean, it is staying there. I'll probably do another test just to be sure. Because when, you know, you're looking at $250, you want to be accurate because you're going to want to get the most for your gold. All right, we're going to put those in a baggie. It's all $14K. Love it. All right, so I don't think we're gonna have enough time. I am like an hour and 12 minutes, I think, into this. A boring, long video. Yeah, an hour and 12. So this is Jeanette with Jandapanda Treasures, and yeah, that's a score in previous blue boxes, because this is, you know, the first opportunity, because it takes a lot of preparation to get everything together, and then, you know, you have to put it all away, so you have to lock it up or put it somewhere safe so that, you know, it doesn't ruin, because if you store this near metal, it's gonna rot. So I've lost some scissors and some pliers just because they were too close to this bin. So yeah, storage is a big deal with these things. So yeah, I can't keep them anywhere near my jewelry. So anyway, I do still have all of this to go through, and I have all of this to go through, and this is from the North Carolina blue box I just opened. So we'll see what happens. Some of this I'm looking at it and I can almost tell right away that it's not, but we'll see. All right, well, thank you all for watching. This is Jeanette with Jandapanda Treasures. Good night.